get involved, there would be no Kenosha right now. And I wish they called earlier. I wish we could have gotten in a little bit earlier, but that's okay. Say what you want. I'll tell you what. I give you Governor credit. Unlike Oregon, because we could solve Portland in about, I'd say, 22 minutes. They're anarchists. They're wise guys. They live in the basement with their parents. Not with Joe. Different basement. A different basement. They go home with their parents. Like wise guys, right? Antifa, radical left. You know, nobody likes to say it. They're Antifa, they're radical left. But they're wise guys. We could solve that in 2 minutes, but they don't want to do it. At least your governor said, let's go in and let's solve the problem. And we solved it. It was late, but better late than never. But we solved and we saved Kenosha, and I want to thank the sheriff, and I want to thank the chief. I want to thank all of the law enforcement. I was there. I want to thank the people that were helping rebuild their stores and their businesses. Kenosha. I never thought of Kenosha, that it would be an important part of my life, but it did become, because it was a terrible scene. And it wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. But I'll tell you what, your law enforcement did a great job. We did a great job. And I want to thank everybody involved. Our law enforcement in this country, if you let them do fairly what they do better than anybody in the world, they wouldn't have any problem. They wouldn't have any problem. You look at what's going on in New York under Democrats. You look at what's going on in Chicago under Democrats. Portland, Oakland under Democrats. Baltimore under Democrats. We have a great young congresswoman hopefully running in Baltimore. She's going to be fantastic. I hope she gets a shot. Today I want to explain to you the threat that their far left plans pose to the safety of your family, your community, and your country. If you give the power to Democrats, the radical left will defund, disband, disarm, and dismantle police departments all across the world. Asked if he supports slashing police funding. You saw this last week. He said, yes, yes, absolutely yes. He said, honestly, he didn't even understand the question. That's what he said. It's just like fracking, right? He said, there'll be no fracking for a year. There'll be no fracking. Then he gets lucky. Elizabeth Warren refuses to get out so Bernie can have the nomination. So Joe looks into it on a Super Tuesday. And now he's standing in Pennsylvania, and they want to frack because they have 1 million fracking jobs, and because we're energy independent and things. So he goes from saying for a year and a half, there will be no fracking. I wanted to put it on the screen, but it was so windy, we would have needed like 15 cranes to hold up the screen. It would have been a giant sail, but we haven't. He says no fracking like 18 times. He then becomes the nominee, goes to Pennsylvania, which we're going to win too. Because in Pennsylvania, I know it well, I went to school there. In Pennsylvania, they believe in law and order, and they believe in energy, and they believe in intelligence, okay? But so he now goes to Pennsylvania, he gets hit hard, and he all of a sudden says, I never said that, there will be fracking. First of all, always follow with these politicians, because, you know, I've only been doing this for a short while. How the hell did I become president? No, I've only been doing it for short. But one thing I've learned, but I've known politics, I've been dealing on the other side of politics. One thing, it's the first thing they say that always matters. And he said it for a long time, along with everybody else in this party. And there's no way he could not do what he didn't agree to in the first place. So he gets up and he says, in Pennsylvania, no, we will frack. We will frack. And the whole place, and not once he all the, you know, the fake news media back then, nobody said to him, but for a year and a half, you said there'd be no fracking, and now you said there'll be fracking. And nobody asked him that question. It's an incredible thing. You know why? Because they're fake news. CNN sucks. CNN sucks. CNN sucks. CNN sucks. Only in Wisconsin can this happen. I know you will. As long as I'm president, we will never defund the police. We will strongly defend our. And I will always stand with the heroes of law enforcement. You know, I think I'm endorsed by every law enforcement group. all over the country, beyond the country. I get world endorsements. It's the craziest thing. He said, I never knew I was that militant. And I'm not militant. You know what? I want common sense. I want people to be safe. I want people to be safe. The Biden plan calls for abolishing cash bail. Oh, that's wonderful. You have a murderer. They want to abolish so that people all over. Look at what happened to New York. They abolished cash bail.